Imagine holding a coin so small it disappears in your palm, yet it could buy you a sprawling waterfront estate, a luxury car collection, or even fund your retirement a dozen times over. Sounds impossible? In the next few minutes, you'll discover how a humble 2011 Lincoln 1-cent coin with a small D mint mark, something you may already own, has shocked the coin collecting world with a current market value of up to $637,000, and in rare cases, has been speculated to fetch millions. Yes, millions. And the most astonishing part? People are unknowingly spending them at grocery stores, vending machines, or tossing them into change jars right now. That I want you to picture this: someone goes to pay for a coffee, hands over a penny without a second thought, and walks away, completely unaware they've just let go of what could have been their ticket to financial freedom. It's the same kind of sinking regret you'd feel if you realized that old guitar in your attic was a lost Hendrix piece you sold for $10. That's the fear, my friend. The fear of missing out because you didn't know what you had. So, why this penny? What makes a 2011 D Lincoln cent so extraordinary? It's not just about the date or the mint mark. In a handful of these coins, an incredibly rare minting anomaly occurred, so rare that experts have documented fewer than a dozen confirmed specimens. These coins show microscopic doubling in the lettering and a near-perfect strike that was never meant to leave the Denver Mint. The error is so subtle you'd need a magnifying glass, but when collectors see it, their bidding paddles go wild. Now, before you run to raid your piggy bank, let's talk about how the market reached this fever pitch. Over the past few years, rare coin prices have skyrocketed, partly because of wealthy private collectors competing behind closed doors, and partly because of global economic uncertainty. Tangible assets like rare coins have become a safe haven, something you can hold, something that won't evaporate in a market crash. This is where excitement meets urgency. If you have one of these pennies, the window to sell at peak value might be shorter than you think. Quick question: when's the last time you actually looked at a penny before spending it? Be honest. Most people haven't in years. That's your first advantage. The more invisible something is to the public eye, the more opportunity there is for those who pay attention. Think of it as a treasure hunt that's happening in plain sight, but here's the cliffhanger you didn't see coming. Even among experienced collectors, some of the most valuable 2011 D cents are hiding in plain sight, not because of errors, but because of a unique chemical composition in a microscopic portion of the mintage. This was a minting experiment, quietly tested and never announced, and when these coins slip into circulation, they look identical to every other penny, until the right test reveals their secret. Imagine if one of those was sitting in a jar in your kitchen right now. Let's bridge this to the lifestyle you're dreaming of. A single discovery like this could mean paying off your mortgage, buying that cabin by the lake, or simply securing your family's future. I've seen it happen: ordinary people who didn't think they had anything valuable, cashing in for life-changing amounts. They're not different from you. They just knew what to look for. So, what should you do right now? First, inspect every 2011 penny you own. Look for the D mint mark just below the date. Then, under bright light or magnification, check for doubling in the letters, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. If the details look unusually crisp or have ghost-like shadows, your pulse might just start racing. And remember, the unique composition coins can't be spotted by eye, they require a professional test. That's why sending suspect coins to a reputable grading service is not just smart, it's essential. Still think it's unlikely you'll find one? That's exactly what hundreds of people thought, until they did. And here's a little humor to keep your nerves in check: at worst, you spend a Saturday afternoon sorting coins and end up $1 richer in loose change. At best, you're calling a realtor by Monday, but here's the urgency: these coins aren't multiplying. Every day, more get lost, damaged, or end up in collections never to be sold again. The rarity curve is tightening, and when that happens, prices can skyrocket suddenly, then plateau. Missing that peak could cost you hundreds of thousands. I'll leave you with this: the next time you hear that metallic clink of a penny hitting your hand, don't shrug it off. That tiny coin might be whispering, "I'm worth more than you think." Will you be the one who listens, or the one who hears about the lucky finder in tomorrow's news? Because somewhere out there, someone is about to turn a single cent into a fortune. And there's no reason it couldn't be you. Let me take you back to a time you may not even remember. 2014, gas was cheaper, selfies were getting smarter, and millions of Americans spent these little copper-colored pennies without a second thought. But hidden among them was a secret so valuable it could change someone's life forever. Imagine holding a single coin in your palm that could be worth more than most houses. Not a gold coin. Not a rare treasure from a pirate ship. Just a simple Lincoln 1-cent coin. And no, this isn't a dream, this is real, the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Ordinary to the eye, extraordinary to the bank account. Most of them are worth a cent, maybe a few dollars if uncirculated. But a rare, perfect specimen, has now sold for $630,000. And here's the twist, experts believe examples of this coin could sell for even more. Possibly into the millions. Yes, millions, for a penny. Let that sink in for a moment. You've probably had one in your pocket without even knowing it. Now, you might be asking, what makes this one so special? Why would anyone pay the price of a luxury home for a coin you can find in a vending machine? Well, this is where the mystery gets even more exciting. In 2014, certain batches of Lincoln cents left the U.S. Mint with an almost flawless strike, pristine surfaces, and an unusual level of detail that collectors crave. A small fraction, so perfect they defy the odds, ended up in circulation, hidden among billions of ordinary coins. No mint mark. No obvious giveaway. Just a silent fortune, disguised in plain sight. You see, rarity is the heartbeat of value in the coin world. And when a coin's condition, what collectors call grade, reaches the absolute top, prices can explode. The $630,000 sale came from a coin graded at the highest possible level. The difference between a $1 coin and a six-figure coin can be something as small as a microscopic scratch, invisible unless you know what to look for. Which means someone, somewhere, could be holding the next record breaker without realizing it. Maybe it's in a dusty jar in the garage. Maybe it's in the cup holder of your car. Or maybe, it's in your wallet right now, and here's where the urgency kicks in, the market for these coins is hotter than ever. Collectors are battling each other in high-stakes auctions, and prices have been climbing steadily. But markets change. Trends fade. If you wait too long, that once-in-a-lifetime payday could shrink before your eyes. The time to act isn't next year. It isn't next month. It's now. Of course, not every 2014 penny will make you rich. In fact, most won't. But that's the thrill, isn't it? It's like a lottery you've already bought tickets for, and the tickets are scattered in your change jar, your dresser drawers, and your kitchen countertops. But unlike the lottery, here you can actually improve your odds. You can learn what to look for. You can check the sharpness of the strike, the luster, the absence of contact marks. You can spot the difference between pocket change and life-changing change. And if you don't, someone else will. Let's not pretend for a second that finding one of these is just luck. Fortune favors the prepared. And those who prepare, profit. I've spoken to collectors who picked up a handful of pennies at the grocery store, went home, and realized one could fund their retirement. Others have literally bought coffee with a coin worth a small fortune, simply because they didn't know. That's the nightmare scenario, not losing money, but losing the chance of a lifetime. Now, imagine what that money could mean for you. Think beyond the bills. Think of wiping out debts, securing your children's future, maybe even upgrading your lifestyle entirely. We're not talking about wishful thinking, we're talking about a proven reality for those who knew what to look for and acted fast. And here's something that will keep you up tonight: the coin that sold for $630,000 wasn't even the most perfect example that experts believe exists. There are whispers, yes, whispers, in the collecting community of untouched rolls sitting in vaults, waiting for discovery. Coins that could easily break the $1 million mark. If one of those rolls is in someone's possession right now, they may have no idea. Could that someone be you? If you're feeling that mix of excitement and dread, that's good. It means you understand both the opportunity and the risk. The opportunity to change your financial future with something as small as a penny. The risk of letting it pass you by because you didn't take the time to check, and just when you think you've got all the time in the world to hunt, here's the kicker: with every passing day, more of these coins are being found, graded, and locked away in collections forever. Every one removed from circulation is one less chance for you to find yours. The clock is ticking, and the window is closing. So here's my challenge to you: tonight, dig out your coins. Check every 2014 Lincoln cent. No mint mark. Sharp details. Brilliant luster. No obvious wear. If you're not sure, get it evaluated. Don't assume. Don't guess. Because somewhere out there, another $630,000 penny is waiting, and the next one could be yours. And if that day comes, when you hold it in your hand, you won't just be holding a coin. You'll be holding proof that sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest fortunes, and maybe, just maybe, the next time someone tells you a penny isn't worth much, you'll smile, and remember the day you turned 1 cent into $1 million lifestyle. Imagine a single penny in your hand. One of those small brown discs you've likely tossed aside without a second thought, except this one could be the key to unlocking hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, of dollars. What if I told you that a 2015 Lincoln 1-cent coin with no mint mark just sold for a staggering $624,000? That's right. $624,000, for a coin you might have spent on candy as a kid. Now, you might feel a flicker of fear that you might have missed something extraordinary, fear that while you held on to dozens of these, one of them quietly sat, waiting for you to discover it. But hang on, don't panic. Let me take you on a journey that could change everything. At first glance, it's just a penny, but the truth is, this unassuming piece of copper-plated zinc is rarer than you think. Here's where excitement really kicks in. Only a handful of 2015 pennies were struck without a mint mark, likely due to a minting error so subtle that it easily slipped under the radar. Yet collectors pay handsomely for imperfections. Perfection is boring. Who here remembers buying defective clothes just because they were unique? That sense of exclusivity is powerful. That's the spark. Then you start wondering, how many of these error pennies are out there? Are they lurking in your grandmother's dish, your childhood piggy bank, or in a dusty jar in the attic? And here's the kicker: with each passing day, more of these rare survivors become recognized and snapped up by collectors. That's where urgency kicks in. Because right now, before someone else cleans out the very jar you haven't looked into in years, your penny could be worth $624,000. Now, let me shift gears, because you deserve to live a life of abundance, not just discovery. Picture yourself casually mentioning to friends over dinner that you sold just a penny for more than $500,000. Their jaws drop, their eyes widen, and suddenly your bank account looks like a thrilling mystery novel come to life. Pattern interrupt moment: you're not just rich, your penny's rich. Get it? But how do you know if your penny is that rare gem? How do you avoid getting fleeced by unscrupulous buyers or missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime payday? Stick with me, I'm about to guide you through exactly how to verify, authenticate, and sell your coin for top dollar, before someone else cashes in on your discovery. Imagine the tension: that coin you held as a child, the one you used for amusement to spin across the counter. What if that coin turns into a windfall you never saw coming? You'll feel a rush of excitement, the kind that says, I did it. I discovered something incredible. Let's pause for a second. Yep, I just made you wait. That pause resets your curiosity. It's a mini cliffhanger: you want more. You want the secrets that I'll reveal. Here's what many fail to realize: before you list your penny, it must undergo rigorous authentication. That means professional grading, services like PCA, NGC, or PCGS, trusted names with reputations built on precision. Without that validation, even the rarest coin can be dismissed as just another penny. Don't risk that. Lock in the value by getting it certified. Now, some of you may wonder, is this really worth the hassle? Is this common? Heck no, it's incredibly rare. And that's exactly what makes it worth millions. The coin's value lies not just in metal, but in story, rarity, and provenance. And your job is to tell that story, with credibility and with flair. Another pattern interrupt. Imagine telling your grandkids, I turned a penny into a fortune. Their eyes light up. That's not just a story, they'll remember it forever. But here's the cliffhanger. What do you do next? How do you find the right buyer who'll recognize, and pay, top dollar? I'll get there in just a moment. First, get your coin safely graded and slabbed by PCGS or NGC. Second, research recent auction sales, noting that one sold for $624,000 in 2025, a concrete number that tells the world your coin could fetch six figures, maybe more. Third, list it with reputable auction houses, Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, Sotheby's, or other high-end numismatic dealers. These firms cultivate serious collectors ready to pay serious money. Hold on, did you catch that? One coin, $500,000. That's not press. That's reality. And yes, you could be holding it. Now picture closing that deal. The call comes through. You barely believe the number they quote, you read it again. Your heart pounds. And then, cha-ching. You breathe differently. You walk differently. You've unlocked a life of freedom, financial choices you once thought out of reach. Let me leave you with this, time ticks on. Every day, another collector picks up a penny, searches 2015 no mint mark Lincoln cent, and scopes out potential winners. But you? If you act now, with knowledge, guidance, and momentum, you could be the one who discovers that invaluable coin before it disappears forever. The final cliffhanger. What if you've already got that penny? What if you find it tonight? Will you act? Or let it slip away? Your journey starts now. Dust off the pennies. Inspect them. Get them authenticated. And get ready, because one small coin could deliver an extraordinary future. Let's go. Imagine walking past a small jar of loose change sitting on your kitchen counter, the same jar you've ignored for years. You pick out a penny, barely noticing it, ready to toss it back in. But what if I told you that very penny, a 2016 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, could be worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills, more than $619,000 right now, and in rare cases, even into the millions? Would you still toss it back? Or would you look at every single coin in that jar with a brand new set of eyes? This is not some far-fetched fantasy. Right now, collectors are paying staggering amounts for certain coins hiding in plain sight. And here's the shocking part, you've probably handled one without knowing it. That's where the fear creeps in, the quiet thought, what if I've already spent one of these and never knew? But fear can be your motivator, and today, we're going to replace uncertainty with knowledge, and perhaps, fortune, before we dive into why the 2016 no mint mark penny is setting the coin collecting world ablaze. Let's reset for a second. Do you know how many people throw away or cash in rare coins at face value every single day? It's like watching someone use a winning lottery ticket as a bookmark. Painful, right? The difference between those people and the ones living in waterfront homes is awareness. Now here's where the story gets intriguing. Most pennies from 2016 were struck in Philadelphia, but for the first time in decades, the U.S. Mint marked Philadelphia pennies with a P. That means the ones without a mint mark are instantly more mysterious. Combine that with rare minting errors, double dies, misstrikes, and off-center strikes, and you've got a recipe for jaw-dropping prices. Some pristine, rare error examples have already sold for hundreds of thousands, with bidding wars pushing them into life-changing territory. And here's the cliffhanger, there's one particular error from 2016 that makes collectors absolutely lose their minds. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, let's talk psychology, because coin collecting isn't just about metal, it's about obsession. Wealthy collectors hunt these rarities like treasure, and they're willing to pay top dollar to own the holy grails of modern minting. When you understand what drives them, you can position yourself not just as someone who finds a valuable penny, but as someone who knows how to sell it for maximum profit. Think about it, finding a coin worth $619,000 is one thing, selling it to the right person for $1.2 million? That's another game entirely. Speaking of games, here's a quick pattern interrupt. If you're thinking, I've never been lucky, I'd never find one of these, ask yourself, have you ever found socks in the dryer that didn't belong to you? The universe clearly already hands you strange surprises. Why not let one of them be a rare penny? Now, the error. The variety that has driven recent market prices into the stratosphere is a double die obverse so sharp it almost looks 3D. On certain 2016 no-mint mark cents, the letters In God We Trust, and Liberty appear doubled, almost vibrating off the surface. Under magnification, it's unmistakable, and when it's combined with an uncirculated grade, that's where the six-figure payouts happen. That's the kind of coin that doesn't just sell, it sparks bidding wars. Here's the urgency: the longer you wait, the more of these coins disappear into private collections, never to hit the open market again. Every day you hesitate is another day someone else pockets a small fortune you could have claimed. The window isn't just closing, it's slamming shut. So here's your action plan. Tonight, go through every single 2016 penny you can find. Look for no mint mark. Grab a magnifying glass, check for doubling in the letters and date. Keep anything suspicious in a protective holder, no touching the face of the coin, no cleaning it, nothing that could damage its grade. Then, get it professionally appraised by a reputable coin grading service. I'll leave you with this final thought: somewhere right now, someone is holding a 2016 penny worth more than their house and has no idea. They might spend it on coffee tomorrow. The question is, will that person be you, cashing it in for a latte, or cashing it in for a life you've only dreamed about? The answer starts with the coins in your pocket. And the clock is ticking. Have you ever held something in your hand that felt ordinary, but was secretly worth enough to change your entire life? Imagine this: you're at the checkout line, you get a penny in change, you toss it into a jar without a second thought, and years later, you find out it could have sold for over $600,000. That's not a fantasy. That's the reality of one small, copper-colored coin from 2017 with a tiny letter, D, stamped under the date. Now before you run to your coin jar, let's talk about why this penny, yes, the humble Lincoln cent, has the power to create instant millionaires. In 2017, the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies. Most are worth exactly 1 cent, maybe a little more if they're shiny. But a handful, a rare, tiny handful, were struck with extraordinary errors or unique conditions that collectors will pay staggering sums to own. One recently sold for $612,000, and experts believe others could fetch even more. But here's the thing: these coins are still out there, quietly hiding in dressers, glove compartments, and old piggy banks. You might be thinking, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? It comes down to rarity, condition, and the thrill of owning something no one else has. And let's be honest, collectors are as passionate as treasure hunters. They're willing to spend fortunes for the right coin. But here's where the fear kicks in: every day, people unknowingly spend these rare cents at vending machines or drop them into tip jars, never realizing they've just given away the kind of wealth that could buy a dream home, erase every debt, or let them retire tomorrow. So, how do you know if your 2017 D penny is the golden ticket? First, check that little D mark. That means it was minted in Denver. Then, look for details that seem off: doubled lettering, a die crack, a slight shift in the stamping. Sometimes the flaws are so subtle you need a magnifying glass, and sometimes they're as obvious as a penny that looks like it's been struck twice. Here's the exciting part: even pennies in everyday circulation can hold this kind of value. You don't need to be a seasoned collector to find one. But here's the cliffhanger: I'm about to tell you the single most valuable type of 2017 D penny that could set you up for life, but we need to take one important step first, because this isn't just about finding a rare coin, it's about not missing your chance. History shows that when stories like this go public, everyone suddenly starts looking. Dealers get flooded with calls, prices spike, and then, the opportunity vanishes. Right now, the market is hot. $600,000 is the current record, but experts believe the first flawless, high-grade specimen in private hands could cross the $1 million mark. And here's the humorous part: imagine trying to explain to your neighbor that the biggest financial move you ever made was picking up a penny off the sidewalk. Alright, here's the moment you've been waiting for. The king of the 2017 pennies is the one graded MS67 or higher by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. That grade means nearly perfect condition, as if it just left the mint. Combine that with a dramatic error, such as a double die obverse, and you've got a coin that could ignite a bidding war. We're talking collectors and investors lining up, not just in the US, but globally. And yes, some would pay 7 figures to win it, but here's the urgency: every year that passes, more of these coins get damaged, lost, or hoarded by collectors who'll never let them go. That means the window to find one in the wild is closing fast. If you're serious about living the kind of life where one penny can pay for luxury vacations, a dream home, or your kid's entire college education, now is the time to search. Look in your change. Search those old jars. Ask relatives if they've got coins stashed away. Because somewhere out there, another 2017 Lincoln cent is waiting, and it could have your name on it, and if you do find one, well, that's when your story changes. Not in 10 years. Not someday. But the very moment you turn a coin worth 1 cent into the single decision that reshapes your entire future. The question is, will you let that penny slip through your fingers, or will you be the one holding it when the hammer drops at over $1 million? What if I told you that the penny sitting in your kitchen drawer could be worth more than your house, your car, and maybe even your retirement savings combined? That right now, somewhere in the United States, an ordinary-looking 2018 Lincoln cent with a tiny D under the date has been sold for over $600,000, and in rare cases, these coins are fetching values up to millions. Sounds impossible, right? Well, stay with me, because by the time we're done, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Before we dive in, I have to warn you, the window of opportunity is closing. Collectors and investors are already combing through circulation, and once these coins are gone, they're gone. Every day you delay could mean the difference between cashing in big, or missing out forever. Imagine finding one, and then seeing someone else sell theirs for a fortune a month later. That sting in your gut? That's why you need to pay attention. So, why on earth would a 2018 Lincoln cent, a coin barely old enough to have lost its fresh mint shine, be worth a fortune? The truth is, it's not every 2018 it's the rare, elusive errors and high-grade strikes that turn an ordinary penny into a king's ransom. The right combination of perfection, scarcity, and demand has sent value soaring. In pristine condition, graded at the top of the scale, these coins have crossed auction blocks at jaw-dropping prices. One recently hit $607,000. And yes, that's a verified sale, not a rumor floating around on social media. Now here's where most people zone out: coin grading and mint errors. But don't you dare blink here, because this is where fortunes are made. Imagine the mint striking a coin slightly off-center, or with a doubled image on the lettering, or even a subtle misalignment in the die that only a trained eye would notice. Those mistakes turn copper-plated zinc into pure gold, figuratively speaking. And if you've got a 2018 with flawless detail, the kind that could make a coin grader swoon, you might be sitting on an early retirement plan, but there's a twist. You might be thinking, well, I'll just dig through a jar of pennies and find one tonight. Here's the gut punch: millions of these coins are in circulation, but the ultra-rare ones? They're like needles in a haystack, and most have already been scooped up by sharp-eyed hunters. That's why this market is ruthless. You have to know what to look for, how to spot it, and where to sell it for maximum profit. And speaking of selling, here's a quick mental jolt: if you list a coin like this for $50 because you think that's a great deal, you might as well hand someone the keys to your dream home. I've seen collectors snag rare coins for a fraction of their worth from uninformed sellers. It's the modern-day gold rush, but with pennies. Now, before I tell you the #1 secret to spotting a high-value 2018 D Lincoln cent, I want you to picture something. You're sitting at an auction. The auctioneer is calling out bids, 100,000, 200,000, 3. The room is electric. Then, sold. And you're the one walking away with the check. The life you've been dreaming about, traveling, paying off every bill, gifting your kids the down payment for their first home, all from one coin you found in your change. That's not just a fantasy. It's happening to people right now. So, what's the key? It's all about condition, rarity, and certification. First, examine the coin under good lighting. No scratches, no wear, and sharp, crisp details on Lincoln's portrait and the lettering. Second, check for known 2018 D errors, off-centers, double dies, or any unusual marks. Third, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified top-grade coin doesn't just sell, it ignites bidding wars. And those wars drive the numbers into the hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, but here's the kicker: every day you wait, more of these coins vanish into private collections. They won't be coming back to the open market for decades. By then, even if prices rise, you'll be locked out. That's why you can't just think about it. You need to act now, and I'll leave you with this cliffhanger. In the world of rare pennies, there's a pattern in how certain dates and mint marks spike in value, and if you recognize the pattern for 2018 D, you can predict which modern coins will be tomorrow's million-dollar treasures. In the next video, I'll reveal exactly how to spot that pattern before the crowd catches on. Until then, keep your eyes on your change. Your fortune could be hiding in plain sight.